couple of weeks ago, they get together, the voters, and they talk about the different candidates. And some people, present cases in favor. Some people present cases that are not as strong or decline to endorse certain candidates. What do we know about what actually happened when they were talking about Bill Belichick?
Well, you're right, Jeremy. They met for 8 hours on January 13th, 2 weeks ago, and it's a secret process. Everything about this lacks transparency. The votes themselves are supposed to be confidential. The discussions are supposed to be confidential, but our reporting shows that Spygate and Deflategate were both mentioned in the context of Bill Belichick. Though I spoke to somebody just this morning, one of the voters, who said that he assumed, and many people assumed, that Belichick was a lock, and they're stunned. I mean, the fact that 11 people, at least, possibly more, did not vote for Bill Belichick to be a first ballot Hall of Famer, second all-time win list, 8 Super Bowls, 6 as head coach of the Patriots, 2 as defensive coordinator for the Giants, is stunning. And when that tip first came in, Belichick got the call Friday afternoon. And within a couple of hours,
the call that he wasn't in, the call saying
he got the call that he was not in from the Hall. A courtesy call came to him, and I got the tip. The first tip came, within hours of that, and I almost fell off my chair. I did not believe it, and it's stunning. And as Seth said, we didn't believe it as we were pursuing it. It's mind-boggling. And so the punishment here is clearly Spygate, mostly because this is a scandal. People have long memories. One of the voters, the Hall of Famer Bill Polian, the former general manager of the Colts, he remembers it. Now, we're going to get into Polian, and I spoke to him last night. He can't remember, remarkably, whether he voted for Belichick or not. He told me.
Post that, Don. I was like, Bill Polian can't remember. I mean, that's always possible, right? But if you're voting on this, and we're not talking about 500 candidates, we're talking about 5, right?
It's 5, yes. And he remembers vividly voting for Kraft, and Polian has been a big, ardent supporter of Kraft for years. Believes he belongs in the Hall of Fame, has said to me, and has also said to his fellow voters, that Kraft knew nothing about Spygate. Polian is convinced of that. In fact, he even told me last night that he told that to voters during the deliberations. I asked him, well, what did you say, if anything, about Belichick? And he said nothing. So take that for what it's worth as well. So, Polian has a lot of juice, I believe, with some of those voters. He's 83, but I find it stunning that he's only 95% sure he voted for Belichick. And also L.C. Greenwood, the great defensive player of the Steel Curtain of the Steelers, the 4 Super Bowl champion Steelers of the 70s. He couldn't remember for 100% certainty that he voted for L.C. Greenwood. He only knows for sure that he voted for Robert Kraft, who he has desperately wanted to get in the Hall of Fame for years.
Dan?
Yeah, listen. When my kids tell me they're 95% sure they did or didn't do something, you automatically know the 5% is the accurate one.
Right.
Give me a break, Polian. No one's buying that story. It was 2 weeks ago.
But what's interesting, people are ripping the writers, and the vast majority of the voters are writers, but Bill Polian's one of the 5 who aren't media members, who are former executives, coaches, players, and he's in, he's in that category. I don't know. I mean, Dan, this is
part of the problem with this thing. And I don't think the media should be involved at all in these things. And one of the reasons is because the media gets dragged into this. And the media, when it comes to this slate of voters, is a loose term. Okay. There is a high quality group of people in there that I know pretty much every single person on this. I trust they do a great job. All that. There are some gong show candidates on this list. Okay. We could update the list, but anyway, Polian 2 weeks ago doesn't remember on a 3-person ballot. This isn't one of these, like, did you vote for dog catcher, this guy back in 2008? I don't remember. He come on. This is all, it's the process. It's this. You guys screwed it up. Your job as the voter is not to be, I'm going to play retroactive morality police and add a punishment that the NFL either doesn't think is deserved or is too cowardly to do on their own.
Mm.
That's not your job as a voter. Okay.
And the other part of it, Dan, that's here, I think, is obviously Belichick was truculent with the media for years. Is that part of it? Like, let's not let him have the honor of being a first ballot Hall of Famer. There's plenty of time left for him to do it. Robert Kraft, there are people in that room that feel Kraft, who's 84 years old. This is his 14th year that Kraft is up. It's the first time, remarkably, that Kraft is a finalist. So Kraft has paid all sorts of, he's been in sort of purgatory with the voters for a long time for lots of different things connected to the Patriots dynasty that those voters remember. And it's a glimpse of why they didn't vote in Belichick, because Kraft is still on the outside looking in after all these years. But what
That's
actually,
not a criteria either.
it's
We're not
not.
here to do criteria on which guys waited longer, which guy's my friend, which guy was nice to me or wasn't nice to me, which guy is my rival that I had to compete against. Like, if you were going on a jury on a murder trial, you wouldn't let your arch enemy from the Colts be on the jury. You get to strike him off. So the media shouldn't be involved, but then the whole thing falls apart. This thing's a joke.